The roots of Unitarianism in Europe lie in two ideas: critique of the doctrine of the Trinity and support of religious toleration. Those two ideas are the double legacy of Miguel Serveto. First, he called into question the doctrine of the Trinity. He paved the way for a Unitarian theology of the unity of God and also advanced the Universalist notion of the universal divinity of humanity. Second, his persecution and death sparked a movement towards tolerance and religious freedom. On October 27, 1553, Miguel Serveto was burned at the stake in Geneva, Switzerland, with a copy of his book tied to his arm. Thousands of people have been put to death as heretics in Europe. In particular, the Anabaptists were slaughtered by the hundreds, and they too rejected the doctrine of the Trinity. What made Serveto so special? For one thing, he argued his side with such evident intelligence. If the fervid passions of the generally lower-class Anabaptists could be written off as a spell of Satan, Serveto's detailed, rational argument, combined with the fact that it came from a respected medical doctor of an upper-class family, landed differently. And so it was that from the crowd that watched him die, there arose the conviction that this should not be. Before his ashes were cold, cries for religious tolerance began to be heard. Calvin fell under criticism. Though Calvin had convinced most of Christendom of Servetos' error, he faced a growing feeling that that error did not warrant the stake. Books arguing for the toleration of heretics began to appear. Sebastian Castellio's booklet Against Calvin notably declared, "To kill a man is not to defend a doctrine, but to kill a man." Good morning. Welcome to virtual worship from Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am the Reverend Meredith Garman, minister of the congregation, coming to you from the parsonage in White Plains, New York. And this morning, serving as your worship associate, as our guest worship leader is Joe Gonzalez, coming to you from his home in Connecticut. Today is the 12th Sunday of summer. Summer is winding down. Sunrise getting a little later each morning, sunset a little earlier. Our service today celebrates the coming of autumn, which begins in 16 days. The instant of transition from summer to autumn will be on Tuesday, September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The 15 hours of daylight Westchester County enjoyed last June will be down to 12. Traditionally, the pagan observances were linked to the harvests, which stretched out over 3 months. Lammas, first harvest in early August, Mabon, second harvest at the autumn equinox, and Samhain, the end of the harvest season at the end of October. Fewer of us today are as attuned to the patterns of agrarian life as our ancestors were, but the seasonal rhythms nevertheless color our days. Here in New York, we know we're into apple picking season. Peak leaf season is expected in Westchester around mid-October. Whether you are nearby or on the other side of the world, maybe you're in the southern hemisphere where you're just now beginning to move into spring. Thank you for being with us. We especially welcome our visitors today. If you are first-time attendees and you're comfortable doing so, please let us know. Introduce yourself in the chat stream. The chat is also for reporting any technical issues. When you do send a chat, check to make sure you're sending to all attendees and panelists, not just the panelists, so everyone will see your message. If you're visiting with us this morning, you'll find the order of service on our website, cuucwp.org, along with resources to help keep us connected during this time. Remember that if your audio isn't working well, you can listen to the service by calling in by phone. That telephone number is also in the order of service on our website. We have a number of ways you can support and care for our community. For September, our Share the Plate funds are being used to support Westchester Community College students in need as they seek the blessings of education. We are able to take contributions via PayPal for your pledge, the plate share, Minister's Discretionary Fund, and the Benevolent Fund. please find the donate button on the homepage at cucwp.org. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are honored by your presence. Across the distance and through the screens that separate us, each of our lights helps all our lights shine. And together, we keep the flame of community burning bright.
If you have a chalice or candle in your home, I invite you to place it before you and light it as you say along with me these chalice lighting words. Even in the deepest, darkest night, we trust at the root of our souls that the sun will rise, bringing light and life to the earth again. As we kindle this flame, we remember the power of life and rebirth.
As we celebrate the passing of summer and the coming of Mabon, the equinox, in 16 days, these are words of Julie Carroll. The wheel of the year now turns to the autumn equinox. We remember the cooler days, we breathe the fall breezes. There's an energy in the air, the magic of the changing seasons. We see the balance in giving and receiving. We share all the fruits of our labor. As the year continues to wane, there's no beginning or end. We now know what balance means, what makes life worth living. It's not what I have or don't have, it's only about giving. This is a time of reflection, the memories of days gone by. I will remember these moments when laughter replaced my tears, when love overcame the odds, when courage chased away my fears, when I took the risk and gave my heart. I have bathed in the light of the moon. I have felt the pulse of Mother Earth. I have chanted the rhyme of the witch's rune. I have asked to see more than what I see with my eyes. Thank you for traveling with me as the wheel of life turns again.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today as we celebrate a couple of weeks early the pagan Sabbath of Mabon, which comes on the autumnal equinox. Mabon is the second of 3 harvest festivals, preceded by Lammas and followed by Samhain. It is our thanksgiving for the bounty that Mother Earth has provided us thus far, and a recognition of our need to share it with those around us as we quickly approach the winter months, where in the time of our ancestors, food sources were scarce, and they had to rely on what they prepared and stored after each of the 3 harvests. Today, we will take this time to reflect on the year so far, and it certainly has been a year that none of us anticipated. We will do 2 very short but meaningful guided meditations and personal rituals later, one focusing on goals for the year that we have not met and what to do about them, and one focusing on a personal strength that not only gets us through our most difficult times, but can be shared with others to help them as well. If you can, please have 2 small pieces of paper and a pen or pencil handy for that part. But first, we begin our ritual as we always do in the pagan tradition, by calling the directions and their energies, creating a sacred space cut off from the physical world, where we can be one with the universe, a place where only light and love are welcome. Though we are in many different places, I ask you to use your mind's eye to spiritually face the directions as I call them, starting in the east and going clockwise. And no matter where we are, we will all be part of the sacred circle we create together now. Friends, I ask that we all join together in spirit, for now, like in days long past, we are gathered in the spirit of thanksgiving. We are grateful for what we have been given by our generous Mother Earth. This is the season of great abundance and joy, deserving celebration now as it was long ago. Giving honor to Our Lady of the Harvest, golden and beautiful in autumn, and also to our Harvest Lord, the joyful Sun King, giver of life, laughter, and love. Today, when all stands in balance, night and day, sun and moon, Lady and Lord, we drop the seeds of our intentions into the earth and welcome the fall rains. Lord and Lady, stand with us and bless our right. We face the east. Hail and welcome, guardians of the east, those on whose breath glides the birds and the butterflies and fills our lungs with the air of life. Ruler of the winds and creators of new beginnings, we ask that you stand with us in our sacred circle to fill each breath with knowledge and emotion. We face the south. Hail and welcome, guardians of the south, rulers of fire and passion, of strength and sexuality, those dragons and lions that burst forth from within us all. We ask that you stand with us in our circle to ignite our ideas into action like the flames that spring forth from our own inner fires. We face the west. Hail and welcome, guardians of the west, those frogs and fish and animals of the sea, rulers of death, rebirth, and fulfillment. Drape us with your love. We ask that you stand with us in our sacred circle to envelop us as water envelops the earth. We face the north. Hail and welcome, guardians of the north, those gnomes and trolls and creatures of the earth, rulers of prosperity and abundance, those givers of life to all that is around us. We ask that you stand with us in our sacred circle to guide our dreams and unconscious minds and ground us to our Mother Earth. And we come full circle and face the east. Great Goddess, it is you who gives life to all things, both large and small, both strong and weak, both wise and mysterious. We gather here offering praise to you for the seeds which you've allowed to rise from the soil to provide fruits and grains for us to eat, for the wind and water and plentiful rays of sunshine. We praise you for providing each of us a pathway to enlightenment. We thank you for bringing us together and being present in our circle as we celebrate. By the air that is her breath, by the fire that is her spirit, by the living waters of her womb, by the earth that is her body, our circle is cast. As we will it, so mote it be.
By the earth, this is her body. By the earth, mother of us all. By the earth, future and past, the circle is cast. The circle is cast. By the air, this is her breath. By the air, sweet wind of life. By the air, from the first to the last, the circle is cast. The circle is cast. The circle is cast. The circle is cast. By the fire of her bright spirit, shining candles in the night. By the fire of her bright spirit, shine your light on
bound together, bound in community, bound by mystery, by forces that play where understanding does not tread. We affirm these bonds with words, music, song, maybe dance. We are bound together whether we know it or not, and through our speaking and singing, we come to know it, to realize our connection to each other, and thereby realize who we are. The mission of Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation is the vow that all who are members here promise to uphold. I invite you to say it along with me. We covenant to nurture each other in our spiritual journeys, foster compassion and understanding within and beyond our community, and engage in service to transform ourselves and our world. Now let us sing and affirm together the aspiration from We Would Be One.
Morning again, everyone. It's so great to be here with you all again. Admittedly, been a bit absent from services recently, trying to take advantage of the early and cooler weekend hours to get the kids out of the house for a walk or a hike, or to go geocaching, a new hobby that my wife Tara got the whole family into last month. If you like treasure hunting, look it up. It's a lot of fun. But to say this has been a chaotic and very unexpected year is a bit of an understatement for most of us. I'm sure it's had a profound effect in many different ways on each and every one of us. We can look at this year from a perspective of balance, a very common theme throughout the pagan faith. We can certainly look at the downside, all of the plans that went unfulfilled, goals we set for ourselves that went unmet, vacations or milestone events, for family members and friends that had to be either canceled or celebrated in a more unconventional way. But we can also look at the positive. What was it that got us through the mess of the last 6 months? What allowed us to persevere? What did we draw on to give us the strength to get through the chaos and uncertainty? We're going to explore both of these aspects as part of our ritual today. In a minute, I'm going to lead you through a short guided meditation that will have you focus on a negative aspect of the year, something missed or delayed, and figure out what to do about it. Be sure to have that paper and pen handy I mentioned earlier for after the meditation. To get us grounded before we start, Kim is going to lead us in a quick chant called O Great Spirit. As soon as she is done, I will start right into the meditation. So please make sure you are seated comfortably and close your eyes when the chant begins.
Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Oh, great spirit, earth, sun, sky, and sea, you are inside and all around in sky and sea. You are inside and all around me.
Summer is over. The leaves on the trees burn brilliantly. Shades of orange, yellow, and bronze emblazon the forest with color. The nights are cooler, and there is a chill in the morning air when you wake. You are standing at the edge of a vegetable garden. Today is Mabon, the autumnal equinox, and the first frost hit the ground last night. The sun is filtering through the trees, but you can still see the delicate lacings of white that glitter across the vines. You know that when the sunlight touches the vegetable garden, the frosted vines will wither and blacken. There is much work to be done today. Carry a large basket into the tomato patch and begin picking the green tomatoes. As you pick each fruit, wrap it carefully in old newspaper and tuck it gently into your basket. The tomatoes will sit in a dark pantry where they will ripen slowly without rotting if you do not bruise them. When you have picked all the tomatoes that are left on the vines, it's time to mulch the plot. You have been raking leaves the past few days, and now you have a huge pile of them that you covered with a light piece of plastic to protect them from the rain. Take large armfuls of the leaves and layer them across the tomato vines. With a garden fork, turn the soil and mulch the leaves under the fresh earth, spading up the plants as you go. The soil smells musty, almost sour, and you know that autumn is here. You have spent several weeks storing and pickling the fruits of your garden, and now it is time to put the bed to rest. After you have finished, take the tomatoes to the pantry. There, on well-ventilated shelves, stand rows of squash and pumpkins, full and orange and waiting for sowing. Your pantry gleams with jar after jar of various fruits and vegetables. Bags of dried beans and sunflower seeds sit waiting for inclusion in casseroles and breads. Stand back and look at the bounty with pride. It has taken a lot of work to encourage the growth, but now you have a good stock put away for the winter, and you know hunger is not likely to knock at your door. This afternoon, you will gather with your neighbors for a feast. Everyone is bringing a dish, and you have agreed to make a hearty soup. Look through the different vegetables and choose several corn and peas, the rich tomato stock you made earlier this summer, a few potatoes from the sack in the corner, an onion, and a scoop of dried beans. When your basket is full, leave the pantry and go through the door that leads to your kitchen. First, you will need a big saucepan. It should be sturdy and solid, representing a centered, well-balanced U. And it should be big enough to hold all the ingredients that go into producing a fully balanced and enriching soup. Now, look at each vegetable that you are going to add to the soup. Each vegetable represents a challenge you have met and mastered, a goal that you set and were able to accomplish this year. As you prepare each vegetable and drop it into the pot, think about your goals this year and the successes you can count for yourself. However, you can't help but notice there are some ingredients missing. Some of the vegetables you planted didn't grow at all, or perhaps they sprouted and grew but never flowered. Remember that even with all our best intentions, sometimes things don't work out the way we hoped or planned. Sometimes the universe has other ideas about our lives. And sometimes, especially this year, chaos intervenes. Think now about those goals that you were not able to meet, that still have not come into fruition this year. There may be one or two, there may be several more. Let them all manifest themselves in your thoughts. As they come together, allow one of them, in particular, the one that bothers you the most, come into complete focus in your mind. What happened with this goal? This plant that did not reach its full potential? Did you allow it enough time to grow? Give it enough water and light? Did its season simply take longer than you thought? What are you going to do about it? Do you still need to forge ahead and give your energy to it? Or should you let it quietly die and put it to rest in order to create new space in your life? Do you try growing it again next year with the intention of a better outcome? Take a moment now and listen to the universe as it helps you decide. Fully visualize the outcome of the decision you make. Allow your senses to fully take part in seeing, smelling, hearing the outcome. Feel the emotions around your decision. Grief for a lost opportunity, hope for another chance in the future, determination to bring it to fruition more immediately. When your vegetables are chopped and cleaned in the pot, add enough vegetable stock to cover them and turn the burner to medium heat. While the soup cooks, you have time to pay your private reverence to the goddess. Go back to the pantry, get a large pumpkin and small basket of apples, and change into a warm ritual robe. Return to the garden. The work you did this morning looks good. And when you look at the vegetable patch, a sense of pride in your honest labor wells up and fills your heart. Next to the garden patch is a wide, flat stone. Kneel by the stone and touch its smooth surface. The rock is warm to your fingertips, but not with the intense heat of summer. And you know that winter is coming soon. Look around at the fields standing barren and parched. The body of the goddess is tired. She must rest. But out of her soil came food for the winter, wonderful fruits and tangy vegetables, grain for the cattle and sheep, berries for the birds and the wild creatures that live in the forest. And for this, you feel the warmth and gratitude and thanksgiving filling your soul. And now slowly bring your energy away from the garden and back to the present. Once you are ready and present in the service again, slowly open your eyes. While the musical interlude plays, take your pen and paper and write down the issue that came up for you in the meditation and what decision you came to regarding what to do about it. When you're done, set it aside to use in the next meditation, and I'll explain later what you're going to do with it to help manifest the result that you visualized. Our prayer this morning is one of the most sacred prayers in the Wiccan tradition, the Charge of the Goddess. Some of you may be familiar with it. I invite you to say it along with me. If you are not, I simply invite you to listen to the words of the Great Mother, who of old was called Artemis, Astarte, Dion, Melusine, Aphrodite, Ceridwen, Diana, Orionrod, and Brigid, and by many other names. Hear the words of the star goddess, the dust of whose feet are the hosts of heaven, whose body encircles the universe. I, who am the beauty of the green earth, and the white moon among the stars, and the mysteries of the waters, I call upon your soul to arise and come unto me, for I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and unto me they must return. Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. And you who seek to know me, know that the seeking and yearning will avail you not unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without. For behold, I have been with you from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire. Blessed be.
Calling on you, hungry hearts, everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this heart of mine. Calling on you, hungry spirits, all the lost and the left behind. All I can, I'll share with you, your joy and your sorrow, and make it mine.
good news is we're all going to die. So you don't have to protect yourself as if your life depended on it. It doesn't. We're all goners anyway. This frees you to live for what really matters, even if it kills you. And what really matters? Well, what is your vow? Whatever your vow is, that's what matters. To help us remember this, our slogan this week is, observe even if it costs you everything. Speaking generally, on the spiritual path, there are essentially two vows: to work on oneself and to help others. Work on oneself means noticing the delusions that arise, studying your stuck places, attending to your reactivity, and help others. Observe those two vows no matter what. In fact, just observe. Pay attention. All vows are included in the commitment to pay attention to our lives, be honest about what is going on, and unflinchingly realistic about how we are behaving and thinking. For the full description of Observe Even If It Costs You Everything, see the post at cucmatters.org.
So now it's time to focus a bit more on the positive. I will begin this with a prayer of thanksgiving. Kim will then lead us in another brief grounding chant called Ancient Mother, and then I will directly begin the meditation right after that. So please, once again, make sure you are seated comfortably and close your eyes when the chant begins. O gracious Goddess, we have sown and now prepare to reap both the fruits of the earth and the fruits of our actions and deeds. Grant us the courage in the coming year to plant the seeds of kindness and joy, of love and togetherness, of beauty and great bounty. Teach us the secrets to banish misery and misfortune, to cast out hatred, to answer anger with love, and despair with hope. We relinquish all thoughts of negativity, seeking a future of wisdom, nurturing our own harmony, trust, and peace. So mote it be.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song.
In your mind's eye, picture yourself standing on the threshold of a great hall. It is a mighty lodge of rough-hewn logs with a ceiling that lifts far overhead. The columns that hold up this vast roof are living oak trees. Ancient grapevines coil around their massive trunks, and jewel-toned grapes shine among the dark spreading leaves. If you look straight up, the trees vanish into the clouds. If you look outward across the hall, you see huge bonfires that leap and crackle in stone-lined pits. Above each is a skylight cut into the distant roof to release the smoke and sparks. Some skylights show the stars we know. Some show the constellations of a different world. And others still show the sunlit skies from different seasons. Time is irrelevant here. The harvest is now. You step inside the great hall, and crowds swirl around you. People eating, drinking, and dancing. Their garb marks them from every human era: Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, and forward. They have found solace and splendor here, shelter. As you walk past the roaring bonfires, you realize that the merry faces you see around you are those of everyone you have ever known who has gone before you into the Summerland. Family members, friends, ancestors from ages past. All your long-lost pets are here as well. You shiver to feel a furry body rub against your ankles or a cold nose thrust into your palm, inviting a caress. Revel in their presence. Feel their love as they welcome you among them. Happy to see you here, to celebrate the harvest with them. Soon, you come across a vast banquet table, loaded with an endless feast. Everyone partakes, coming and going as he or she pleases. At the head of the table sits the Lord of the harvest, he who is known as the steward of the earth. With kind eyes, he has watched you since you first found your way to his hall. Now he beckons to you. He shows you to the seat on his right hand. With a smile, he greets you. You have come home. You are in the presence of your Father, who has known you and cherished you since the moment of your birth. What is your greatest blessing, my child? He asks. I tried to give you the best. I wanted to arm you against the cruelties of life. What has turned out to be my greatest gift? The answer expands in your mind like the rising sun. It might be your health. It might be your children. It might be the passion and closeness that you share with the love of your life. It might be your creative expression or the work with which you gave back to the world. You must name it to summon its essence to the great hall. Take some time to allow the answer to come into full focus in your mind. As you do so, your greatest blessing appears as a golden chalice. It overflows with a sparkling substance that looks like sunlight made fluid. Within this liquid, you see a reflection of the steward's greatest gift to you. Concentrate on it. Let it fill your mind. This treasure is the source of your strength as you struggle through the hardships specific to your life. Now, the people come forward with their own cups in hand. Their eyes shine with anticipation. They bow with great reverence. At first, you think they are honoring the Lord who sits beside you. But it is you to whom they are grateful. One by one, they dip their cups into your chalice and drink deeply of the elixir. Their eyes grow brighter and their faces flush with vibrant life. They become beautiful as gods. You realize that you are not giving away your health or your children or your creative expression or whatever it is that fills your cup. Instead, you are sharing the strength that your greatest blessing imparts to you. It is a wellspring that will never run dry. As you are transformed by your source of strength, so do your actions transform everyone in your life. You look at the harvest Lord as you realize what he has shown you. He lays his hand along the side of your face. You feel it like gentle lightning, awaking every nerve. He says to you, go forth in your wisdom and be my light in the world. Slowly bring your energy away from the banquet hall and back to the present. Once you are ready and present in the service again, please open your eyes. Take your second piece of paper and pen, and this time, write down the strength that came up for you in this meditation. I'll give a brief moment of silence so everyone can do so. So for the last part of this ritual, you're going to be on your own to complete it when you are ready. I want you to take the two pieces of paper you now have, the piece with the strength that you just wrote on it. I want you to put in a place where you can easily see it or access it at any time. This paper is to serve as a reminder of your strength. In the difficult times of our lives, it is far too easy to despair and question how you're ever going to make it through. In those times, this paper will remind you of the answer that came up for you today. Read it, cherish it, and let it remind you of today's meditation. Let it strengthen you and allow you to share that strength with those around you as well. Now for the other piece of paper, with your unfulfilled goal and desired outcome, I want you to roll up into a tight scroll, something like this. So later today, or on another day when you're ready to devote the energy, it doesn't have to be today, take the scroll and hold it between your hands like this. And once again, fully visualize the outcome you chose from the meditation and direct the energy of that vision into the piece of paper. Full feelings, senses, feel it, hear it, smell it, everything that you envisioned, having that come true. Then you can do one of two things. You can keep it whole, or you can safely burn it into a dish or fireplace and collect the ashes. Then find a place to bury it and return it to the earth, planting it like a new seed. You can do this in your yard, in your garden, in a potted plant inside, or whatever appeals to you. You can even put it in compost or make the paper wet if you kept it whole, and wrap seeds in it and plant those seeds as well. After you bury it, say a prayer over it, asking the universe to allow this seed to grow and your intention to manifest as you envisioned. Then walk away and allow it the time it needs to grow, having faith that the universe will guide it and you to its proper fruition. So mote it be, and bright Mabon blessings to all.
Our closing hymn is number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please sing along wherever you are.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, till I drive and I can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor a port I know, the wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
I'm Mary Cavallero, one of our social justice coordinators. The recipient of this month's Share the Plate is Westchester Community College Student Emergency Fund, which is sponsored by two of our teams, the Racial Justice Team and the Economic Team. Since March, Westchester Community College has been working hard to assure that all of its students have access to remote learning and to stay on track to continue their education. In particular, the Emergency Fund has been used to purchase and distribute laptops through a student laptop loaner program. Students are receiving emergency grants ranging from $250 to $2,000 for housing and utilities, thus staving off eviction. Students are also picking up pre-bagged meals from the college's food pantry. Others are receiving food gift cards and transportation vouchers. A third semester nursing student was one of many who wrote to express their thanks. This nursing student received a grant which will allow them to pay their rent for the next 3 months. They wrote, "I would like to deeply thank everyone that was part of the emergency aid grant on my behalf and for making this possible for so many other students who are going through tough situations as well. You have changed our lives for the better." So please consider helping others to change their lives for the better. It is part of our mission. Thank you.
As our ritual comes to a close, I will now dismiss the directions and open our circle. In your mind's eye as before, spiritually face each direction, starting in the north and going counterclockwise. Power of earth, spirits of the north, we give thanks for the fertile fields, the deep forests, and the majestic mountains. Thank you for nurturing our crops so that we shall sustain, for your grounding earth and for your assistance this Mabon. Go if you must, but stay if you will. By light of day and dark of night, always shall we honor thee. We face the west. Power of water, spirits of the west, we give you thanks for the sparkling streams, the mighty rivers, and the endless oceans. Thank you for supporting all that which we require, for your love and for your assistance this Mabon. Go if you must, but stay if you will. By light of day and dark of night, always shall we honor thee. We face the south. Power of fire, spirits of the south, we give you thanks for the brilliance of fire, for the heat and warmth that it provides us in the cold months. Thank you for your strength and clarity, for your passion, and for your assistance this Mabon. Go if you must, but stay if you will. By light of day and dark of night, always shall we honor thee. We face the east. Power of air, spirits of the east, we give you thanks for the gentle winds that carry the seed, the purity of the wind, and the freshness of a gentle breeze. Thank you for your perfection, your knowledge, and for your assistance this Mabon. Go if you must, but stay if you will. By light of day and dark of night, always shall we honor thee. We come full circle back to the north. Great Goddess, thank you for your abundance, your wisdom, and the unconditional love shared with us this day in our sacred space. Thank you for showing us how to achieve balance in our lives, night and day, male and female, summer and winter. As we go out into the world, remember the goddess that she rests as the godchild grows in her womb. Remember the God as his strength slowly drains, so that the wheel of the year can continue, and he may be reborn to us at Yule. Remember the bounty of the harvest that we have because of the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, of fruit and grain, and man and woman. Our circle is open, but remains unbroken. May the peace of the goddess be in our hearts forever. Merry meet, merry part, and may we all soon in person merry meet again. Blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me.
As our chalice is extinguished for this service, and as you now extinguish your chalice at home, please say with me the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the chalice here, that it might gently glow in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.